We are going to be creating a model, and we're going to be creating a view imports file. And then we're also going to be modifying our index.cs HTML file. And we're going to be modifying basically our index view so that it connects to our model. So first thing we're going to do is create our model. So I'm going to right click on models, go to add, and what I want is a class. And the name of the class, now I would like to name it future value, but that is the name of my project and they cannot be the same. So I'm going to call it future value model and click on add. And you'll notice it has a bit of the structure in here for me. So my task is to add the properties. And I am going to pause while I do that. I added all of my properties, and there are some using statements that we don't need, so I'm going to get rid of those. And so I've got a monthly investment, a yearly interest rate, and years properties. And then I have kind of an internal method that is going to calculate and return the future value. So I'm going to save my changes. And I'm going to generate my Razer import page. And to do that, that needs to go in this main view folder. So I'm going to right click, go to add, and view. Oops, I lied. That is not the view that I want. We'll try this again. Right click, new item is what we want. There it is. All right, so the item that we want is Razer View Imports. Now to get to that, we're going to expand ASP.NET Core, and we're going to choose Web, and that should limit what we're seeing. And then you can see Razer View Imports down here, and you're going to select that. We're going to keep the default name, and we're going to click on Add. And at this point, there's nothing in there. So we are going to add a using statement. Telling it to look in our future value models so that we can access those classes. And we know we're going to be using tag helpers, so we're going to go ahead and add the code for that as well. And I'm just checking my spelling. All right, I think I did that right. I'm going to save. And our next task is going to be to modify our index. So let's go ahead, open that up. We still want the layout to be null. And we're going to add at model, future value model to the top. So what we did in view imports was kind of direct it to the namespace. And here in our index, we are telling it that that model is what we want to use in here. And there is a whole lot that we have to add to the body of this page. In fact, below the meta tag, almost everything is going to change. So I'm going to pause while I enter all of this. I have finished entering the data. You'll notice that we have kind of a placeholder here for styles that we're going to be entering in a few minutes. Then in the body, we have our heading, followed by our form tag. And you can see that we have specified the action method, which is index. So it is going to assume home controller index. And then when they submit this, it's going to be submitted as a post. Then I'm actually going to split this out a little bit so it's easier to see. You'll notice that we have sets of div tags, and in the div tags, we have labels and we have input tags. And so this is where the data is going to be entered. And we're using ASP4, and we're directly connecting this to our model. So if we went back and took a look at the model, monthly investment, yearly interest rate, we are going to see those entered because that is how we are connecting the view to the model. Okay, so you can see years is also entered. Now, future value is something that we're going to be calculating. And you can see that it's coming to us in a view bag, which means that we're getting it from the controller. And we have said this is read only. So that input area is not an input area that they're going to be able to type in. Then you can see that we have a button that we've created, and then we have a link that takes us back to the index. Now you might be wondering, well, why in the world is it labeled clear? Well, if we go back to the index page, we start all over, it's going to use a get. And when it uses a get, it clears everything out. The post is going to redisplay what you entered, and the get clears it all out. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And before we can test this, we do need to make a little adjustment to our controller. And that is what we're going to talk about next.